I'd like to explore with you a subject that's very dear to the hearts of many entrepreneurs: leadership. You know, great entrepreneurs are not always great leaders. We have a fantastic idea in our heads and a passion that drives us, but sharing that with others is not always what we do best. So I thought it might be helpful for me to share with you some of the painful lessons I've learnt in my career. Probably the first thing to note is that leadership qualities are essential, whether you have one member of staff or 1,000. They're also essential if you're managing yourself, because actually you have to manage. Leadership qualities actually count when you're dealing with customers, funders. They all have to know that you have a vision, and you have to very clearly communicate that. To be honest, until I was asked to talk to you tonight, I hadn't really thought about leadership too much. Then, knowing that the armed forces have produced some of the greatest leaders in history, I took a closer look at them. What I found was that many of them were deeply unpleasant people. Montgomery, Nelson, and the Duke of Wellington had a real nasty side to their characters. Then I looked at other great leaders: Gandhi, Mandela, Martin Luther King, great and good men. But then you have Hitler, Mussolini, Charles Manson, and Osama bin Laden. So leadership is really nothing to do with goodness and mercy. So what does define a great leader? Well, in my opinion, directors direct, managers manage. Great leaders inspire and help their people to think the impossible and achieve the unachievable. Directors direct managers to jump over a cliff. Managers decide how they're going to do it. Great leaders say, believe me, this is the right thing to do. I'm going to jump first and then I'll catch you when you fall. So what do great leaders have in common? First comes the vision, and I'm sure you'll all relate to that because you're all entrepreneurs. Great leaders have a vision and a very clear idea of how, where they're going, why they need to go there, and what needs to be done to get there. They have the ability to communicate that vision and engage others so they believe it's their vision too. Then comes the passion. Great leaders are always passionate about their vision and communicate that passion in everything they say and everything they do. However, they also have the ability to be flexible and pragmatic, knowing sometimes outside influences affect a strategy, but they never lose sight of the original aim. Leaders are rarely great managers, and one of the most important leadership qualities I've learned is to recognise your weaknesses and ensure you surround yourself with people who can actually fill your shortcomings. I'm not a completer finisher. I'm an ideas person. I need completer finishers around me to help me. So what have I learnt? First, I've had to keep the vision simple. A complicated vision doesn't make you clever. It makes it almost impossible for you to achieve and totally confusing for everybody involved. My vision for Isuzu was that we go to market on the unique selling point of great customer service, and we've won awards for it. Ever since the beginning of the operation in 1996, our advertising, our PR, our staff and dealer training and our culture is totally focused on the vision of customer care. I'm absolutely boring on the subject and bring every business discussion back to it every single time. All our staff are trained in customer care. And to the astonishment of our customers, every customer who buys from me gets my home telephone number so they can call me if there's a problem. I assure you, no member of my staff wants that call to happen, so there's a lot of people making sure I don't get it. Excuse me. The world's changing really fast. Pragmatism must come in. The speed of communication is bringing all its own challenges. Academics rarely make good leaders as they're always looking for the perfect answer, and once they've found it, they'll stick to it. They're also poor on what are called soft skills, such as interpersonal rapport skills, which build strong relationships with your people and help you to inspire them. Closely watch what's happening around you. I used to be a really bad chess player. I was so focused on this brilliant move that I decided was going to actually win the game. I completely lost sight of my opponent, who'd got an equally good idea and whopped me every time. As my opponent was my 12-year-old son, it was a very object lesson and very humiliating. Admit if you're wrong or make a mistake, but have a new game plan ready. Learn from your mistakes, but never look back. My biggest advice to the young ones here who've just started their businesses, it's a waste of time looking back. Learn from it, but go forward. The past is gone, the future's yours. Please don't get locked in bitterness or regret or remorse. It's not worth it. Always listen to other people. Never be afraid to say, I don't understand, or please explain it to me. Your team won't think you're weak if you ask them for advice. Many people junior to you will have a much better understanding of the in-depth part of their job. Asking them for help develops them as potential leaders and makes them feel valued and actually grows your own expertise. As a non-technical woman and a complete Luddite, I'm not allowed anywhere near a computer. This is something that stood me in really good stead as CEO of a highly technical business that's also highly computerised. No one has respect for a leader who thinks they know everything. A good leader surrounds themselves with good people who have skills that are complementary as well as similar. Always hire or promote people who could do the job better than you. Then devolve as much as responsibility as you can to those gifted people. Develop them and stretch them to the limit. A great leader inspires his people to overachieve and generously gives them public credit for doing so. Interestingly, that was an attribute that Montgomery was sadly lacking in. The other thing I've learned is that your people are human beings. They're all completely different. There's no magic formula that enables you to inspire everybody. I wish there was. Some are motivated by material things, money, possessions, status. Some just want to please. Some crave security. Some people automatically obey people in authority. Some are gung-ho and will respond to passionate rhetoric. Others need to analyse facts, statistics, before they're convinced. I have had to look very carefully at each individual, decide what motivates them best, and tailor the leadership package to suit them. You must be emotionally robust, particularly now. Whatever's thrown at you, you need to keep an outward air of being in control. When the recession hit in 2009, our industry hit it worse than anybody. I went on holiday in August 2009 with the best year we'd ever had, and we never sold another truck till December. It was horrific. Mercedes trucks last quarter order take of 2009 was minus 32,000. In other words, 32,000 more people cancelled than ordered a truck. It was scary. I was a bit like the Queen Mother. What do you mean I've got an overdraft? Send in another butler. It really was bad. But you have to keep that outward air of being in control. By all means, admit you're under pressure. Your people will know that very well and won't respect you if you pretend it's not the case. However, they will be looking to you for a solution, of a reassurance that everything will be okay. Consistency is everything. Nothing is more unsettling than a leader who changes moods or decisions constantly. You have to go back to the vision. Share yourself. You're a human being too, and sharing private thoughts and moments brings you closer to your team. You can't expect people to share with you if you're not equally generous with them. I found that if I came into the office in a bad mood, my journey to work, I live in Kent, hi up there, whoever it was who came from Kent. I live in Kent and work in Hatfield, so that 60-mile trip around the M25 is not conducive to good humour in the morning, particularly when you've got a large Akita in the back of the car crossing your legs all the way. So when I came to the office in a bad mood, it took minutes before that permeated the entire company. Now I make a real conscious effort to smile and say hello, no matter how bad I feel. However, if I'm in a really bad mood, I send an email to everybody telling them why and make a joke out of it. By the way, a good sense of humour is vital. You can deliver strong messages in an effective but not tonally damaging way. The other thing I've learned is listen to your inner self. All entrepreneurs have an inner voice. Listen to it. It's right, it's nearly always right. A voice told me when to buy Isuzu, and another voice will no doubt tell me when to sell. However, I've learned before I act on that instinct to take a deep breath and seek some more logical advice. If that stacks, go for it. My people say I'm much too quick to make a decision. They say I'm right 80% of the time, and then they have to spend a lot of time clearing up after the other 20%. But hey, you can't be good at everything. You must have integrity. No decision can be made for selfish motives. The team is everything, and working for a selfish or self-seeking leader is an extremely unpleasant experience. I don't know how many of you have had to make redundancies, but that is a terminally sad and shocking thing to do. And the worst thing is, it's bad enough getting rid of people, but so many of us forget the people who are left behind. And one of the things I've learned is that when you make redundancies, your work is like a family. And when a family member leaves, it's very upsetting for the people who are left behind. So they worry about their own security, particularly in an organisation where redundancy is relatively unknown. And a feel of dissatisfaction lingers and people feel let down. Please don't forget the family members who are left. They need as much help and consideration as the people that you've terminated. That's when I learnt the last lesson of leadership. It can be a very lonely existence. Ultimately, the buck stops here, and that's when a great mentor will come into their own. I can't stress the importance of getting a good mentor. Find someone you admire as a leader from any walk of life and learn from them. A good mentor is essential as you progress in your career, and most people are flattered to be asked. So to sum up, my shopping list of leadership qualities is integrity, honesty, compassion, listening, pragmatism, simplicity, sharing yourself, treating everybody individually, but above all, never losing the vision. Thank you.